What is up, Wise Take Nation? Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Good evening. Welcome to this week's PGA DFS Wise stream for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. This week we celebrate combining lemonade and iced tea together. So good. I am your boy, as always, BrewMedic47. And I am here with my dude, Mr. Shockey DFS. What's up, fucker?
Wow, we just start off like that?
Yeah.
Well, it actually started before this, so it doesn't matter.
Before that. That was actually an improvement.
I am ready for the actual start of the season. Here we go. The meat and potatoes.
We have to talk about the fifth major real quick. Actually, I'm sorry, the sixth major.
No, you already called the Genesis the sixth major. You can't just keep adding...
The seventh major.
No, there's no one calls it that.
No, I'm talking... What do you think I'm talking about?
I don't know.
I'm talking about the Seminole Member Pro. Duh.
Yeah.
Did you look at the Seminole Member Pro at all on Monday?
No.
Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, I'm baffled right now.
You have no clue? All right.
I have drawn a blank, if anything.
Seminole Golf Club is one of the most exclusive golf clubs in the country. It's like up there with Augusta. And the Monday after, or I guess the Monday before the Arnold Palmer Invitational, they have the Seminole Member Pro, which is one of the most exclusive golf tournaments in the entire world and features a roster of golfers that is not unlike a major. Like you had Rory, Rahm, Rose, DJ, like fucking all these big guns playing in this like incredibly exclusive tournament. So that's kind of like little golf inside there. That's why. So people actually refer to that as like the sixth major because it actually has the strength of field of a major. And it's super exclusive. Like we don't actually know how. Like we saw like the tee sheets, and then we saw the end results. We don't actually know what actually happened, but we know Rory and his dad sucked. So they did not play well. But it's actually a pretty cool like secret little event. If you get bored and want to look into it, it's actually pretty neat.
It's founded by an investment banker.
Yes. Yeah. It's big money. Big money. There's like Adam Silver played in it. Like all the fucking bigwigs in like sports and fucking politics and shit.
Joseph Patrick Kennedy Sr.
Yeah.
Kennedys were in it. Fords, Chrysler. Yep. All of the money in the world is.
Yep.
Eisenhower, you got presidents. Everybody.
Yep.
The Duke of Windsor.
Oh, Windsor, that guy. Love that guy. Yeah, so just fun little bit of trivia. Impress your friends and family members by talking about the Seminole Member Pro. Anyways, we'll get into this week. We have the Arnold Palmer Invitational, the API from Bay Hill Club and Lodge in Orlando, Florida. As the name suggests, this is an invitational event. So we have a smaller field, about another 120 golfers, but the same cut rule. So if we have top 65 in ties with 120 golfers, we could see well over half the field making the cut. I remember this event last year. The 6 of 6 percentage in cash was like absurdly high.
It always is when over half the field makes the cut.
Yeah. So not always. There's been some weeks where
most of the time.
Yeah, but I think I had like 5 of 6, and I didn't win a goddamn thing at this event last year. But on the good side, we can talk about the Honda. How'd you do in the Honda?
No, we don't need to talk about the Honda.
Okay, I'll talk about the Honda then, because I did really fucking well at the Honda.
Your first time, and it's the hardest, the dumbest thing that's ever happened, and it's the first time.
Yep, first time this year that we actually had a good week. Cash was 6 of 6, which was cool because there was very little 6 of 6 in cash this week. I think it was less than 10%. And it was by far my best lineup. Better than my GPP lineups. At one point I was like top 10 in like the $3 birdie. That was like the GPP hedge that I threw it in, and finished like in the 300s, which still wasn't terrible, but wasn't as good as it could have been. As usual, had my guys fall off. But this week was new and exciting because most of my guys fell off on Saturday instead of Sunday.
They're improving. They're getting days earlier. That's even worse.
Yeah. It was new to me. So that was nice. But, yeah, so cash hit. That was cool. It was a cool tournament. We usually see with the Honda, this is really the first hard event of the year.
Genesis is hard.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is usually the first event of the year where we get the winning score in the single digits.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy that the first round leader shot like -4, and then the winning
There's
score
6.
Yeah, the winning score of the tournament was.
It was Tom Lewis. I'm like, why is Tom Lewis so? And then he just completely fell off. I'm like, good. Oh, yep. I'm like, that's like, why is Tom Lewis winning? And did you watch the last hole with Fleetwood?
Oh my God, when the dude yelled in his backswing.
Oh, is that what happened? I missed that part. No, it was just like, it's like, you just need birdie. Play safe, lay it up. You can lay it up just to make birdie to force a playoff. He's like, I'm going for it all. And that's what you get. You bogey it, and then you come in like third.
Shanks it in the drink. On his backswing on that approach shot, someone yelled, get in the hole, like when he was like,
no.
And now him and his caddy both said that they didn't hear it, that it was like a different mic from like further away that picked it up. Oh. But I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second.
What was his expression after he shot though? Right after, it's like you can see if they.
No, he didn't even look phased. He didn't even look pissed.
Then I don't think he heard it then, because usually they make like, even if they don't. Yeah. They make some kind of emotion.
When that dude yelled in his backswing, but yeah. I don't know. Whatever.
That would have been Fleetwood. It was funny because it was battle of first PGA Tour wins. M got his, and that would have been Fleetwood, which is surprising that Fleetwood has not, but he doesn't play as much as others on the PGA Tour.
If you look at the strength of field compared to PGA Tour events versus Euro Tour events.
Yeah.
And this event had a better strength of field than his last 3 Euro Tour wins. But he just couldn't do it. Couldn't get it done.
Still a good golfer though. I just wish he played more PGA Tour events because he probably gets too confident playing against random Euro Tour players.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a fair assessment. I'm gonna move myself over here. Okay, all right, so that was last week. Whatever, it's done and over with. All right, good week. Let's keep it rolling. Also super excited for the players next week. Love the players.
I had Vegas last year. There. Yeah.
It's the players, also known as the 17th major. I'm very.
We're gonna get to the swing season and be like, known as the 52nd major on tour.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but the players is known as the 5th major.
Yeah.
But that's like a thing, but we'll talk about that later. Let's get on to
actual thing.
Let's get on to this week. Welcome everyone to beautiful Orlando, Florida, for the API at the Bay Hill Golf Club and Lodge. This week, we have a pretty stacked event. As this is the last event before the players. Decent amount of big guns up at the top with Rory, Fleetwood. This is actually probably one of the shittier fields we've had in recent years for this event.
Still a good field, though.
Still a good field, very good field, yes. But I mean, there's Rory, and then you go Fleetwood, Matsu. There's no Rom, no DJ, no JT. We really just have Rory as the top of the field, but that's fine. Still a good field, better than we saw last week for sure. And there was talk about they're moving the Honda for next year. They're going to put it further back in the schedule, hoping to draw out a better field for the event. So that'll be interesting. We'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Legendary event created and hosted by one of the best to ever play the game. And this is also one of the biggest purses of the regular events on tour. You will find with the bulk of these Florida courses, the weather is one of the main defenses here. And as we will touch on, the wind looks to be wild, which should increase its difficulty for this week. Bay Hill itself is a 7,419-yard par 72 with 4 par 3s and 4 par 5s. The 4 par 3s are pretty tricky. None of them really carry that good of a birdie rate. The highest is 11% and the lowest is 7.5%. So pretty low birdie rate. Par rate's there, anywhere between 65 and 73. And there's a decent amount of bogeys to be had here on these par 3s as well, especially if you're hitting it into the water, which, spoiler alert, there is a lot of water here.
Really?
As for the 4 par 5s, they are the 4 easiest holes on this course, each carrying a birdie or better percentage, anywhere from like 35% to like 60%. The par 5 16th hole is a super, super short par 5. And it carries a birdie or better rate of like 60%. It's like a 5% eagle rate. Wild. This course requires a very strong all-around game with a degree of creativity. Length is always a plus if you have it, but you need to be dialed in with your irons and be prepared to scramble if you miss. There are a ton of hazards here in the form of bunkers, doglegs, and water in play on about 50% of the holes. You'll see that there's a lot of aspects of this course that are similar to last week at the Honda. From the tee box, we have nice, wide-open, tree-lined fairways that kind of give the golfer a false sense of security off the tee, and they actually disguise quite a bit of nastiness. Usually what they do here is they mow down the rough around the hazards. The thicker rough tends to slow down the balls and keeps them out of the hazards, but when they mow the grass down around it, there's a greater chance of the balls making their way into the sand trap and the water. The greens are well above tour average in size, which makes hitting greens easier, but also leaves more room for longer putts if you miss slightly. The greens are fast and firm and have a decent amount of slope and runoff areas. We also notice that about a third of our approach shots from here are from 200 yards in length. This being a longer course at 7,400, we see that there is an increase in driving accuracy and a decrease in driving distance compared to the average tour event. So a lot of people are clubbing down here. A lot of people are hitting less than driver off the tee. This leads to long approach shots, which is why we see so many 200-yard plus approach shots. Club down, hit an accurate drive that lands stiffly away from trouble, leaving longer approach shots. And of course, as from a stats perspective, yeah, we have approach. Approach is always huge, especially on these less than driver courses. Long distance approach, like 150 to 200 and 200 plus, is important. You got to look at some scrambling or around the green play, because again, even if your approach is good, and the greens are a fairly good size here, we're still going to have a lot of missed greens. So you need to be able to get up and down. The greens in regulation percentage here is actually less than the tour average, while the scrambling percentage is slightly higher. We want guys that can putt well, avoid 3 putts. Lag putting is always a concern. Cut line here, anywhere between +2-ish, probably a little higher with the winds, the nastiness. It might be closer to +4, +5. If it gets really, really nasty. Trying to look at the average winning score here, but I believe the average winning score is in like the low to mid-teens. Under par, not anywhere near as hard as last week. But still, I think with the winds being up, I think we see that. I think we see that get higher.
The winning score last year was the past 5 years: 12, 18, 11, 17, 19.
Okay, so yeah, like mid-teens is
but I think 15 had also the lowest cut line at 1 under. It was the only underscore cut line in the past 7 years.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It may be let me see, in 15.
They had 15 was fucked up. There was something fucked up with the course in 2015.
Yeah, it was the green firmness. Like, it's usually firm, really firm. It was soft.
They had worms.
Yeah, it was really soft green firmness, really easy hitting fairways, calm. Yeah. Like, one round was really calm winds. And it was just average with the green speeds with the softness of it. So it was just, the greens were super easy that week.
Yeah.
That's why 15 was such a anomaly compared to the rest.
They legitimately had worms. They had a worm infestation.
Yeah, which
do everything.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything I missed? Anything else you want to add statistically?
I did opportunities gained, and with the bigger greens, I want opportunities gained instead of greens and regulations because it's easier to hit the greens and regulation, but I want you getting closer on these bigger greens. And I did par 5 scoring because of usually of the top 20 finisher. If you go by anybody that makes a cut going down, par 5 is usually you have to score well on the par 5s. If not, then you're might be in trouble unless you're doing amazing on the par 4s, because the par 3s, you don't even have to do that well in the par 3s to do well here, historically speaking.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then, approach is the biggest one here. Like, it's not terrible. Like, off the tee is half of the strokes gained of the top 20 finishers per round, so approach was definitely way more heavier than that. And I did tee to green.
Yep. I got a little tee to green as well.
Yeah.
Ball striking too.
I always, I did a little bit of bogey avoid too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then obviously wins. I included wins.
Wind.
Oh, I didn't talk. Let me talk about the weather real quick.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Weather Thursday is 90 degrees with 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. This is also tonight. This could change. So I check again tomorrow. But Friday is mid-70s, 15 to 25 mile per hour. Saturday, mid-60s, 15 to 25 mile per hour winds. Sunday is mid-70s, 10 to 20. So it's going to be windy regardless. Just it gets calmer as the weekend goes on, but not that much. So Thursday will probably be the most interesting day. That could dictate the cut line if it stays like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Thursday especially. It's gonna be windy. See how that goes.
Which is always interesting. Which always makes it more fun.
Oh yeah.
Because you could have a guy on the last hole triple bogey to miss the cut. Whee!
Yeah. Who does that?
Oh, my guys. No, they'll just bogey it to miss it by one when I just needed to make a 6 of 6.
When you just need him to make like a 5-foot putt for par to make the cut on the number.
And then he uses his 9-iron to use for putting somehow. And
just 3-jacks it.
Yeah, I'll go to the 10K range.
All right, hit me with it.
Oh, you say the guys in the 10K range. You always say it.
Oh, do I?
Yes.
All right. Well, we have 5 golfers this week. The huge. Rory Mcilroy at the top, down to X-Man Xander Schauffele at 10K. Hit me with it.
I have 2 guys, and I just feel like they're the best 2 of this range.
No, I want 3. Tell me 3 guys.
3?
I'm kidding. No, just do your thing.
I like the top. I just like these guys so much better. Like, they're all fine. Like, when I get to those 2. But the rest of the 3 are fine. I just like these guys so much more. And it's going to be something that you don't do, which I love. Obviously, everyone's going to love Rory. Don't even need to go why. But, okay, in his past 5 events, 4 top 5s and a win. Obviously, first in the model. In wind conditions, these types of wind conditions, first in total strokes gains and tee to green. History here, T6 last year, and has a win and a top 4 in 17 with a 27th and 11th. And no one's hotter than this guy is. Just the way he's playing, another top 5 is imminent. It's just it comes at a hefty price. And probably one of the most owned, if not the highest owned, even though he costs so much. And then I go to Hideki. Second in my model, and in the past 12 rounds, he's first in approach, ball striking, tee to green, and opportunities gained. And in these wins, he's third in tee to green and total strokes gained. Comes in with 2 straight top 10s, 2 top 25s, and a 45th before that. Not great history with T21st, 6th, 45th, 49th, and a 33rd last year. But I don't think he's come in stroking it this well. That sounded weird.
How do you know how well he's stroking it?
Oh, yeah, he's stroking it well for how well he's hitting his irons and just getting to the green. It's always a putting, but, I mean, first in opportunities gain, he's going to hit some putts inside. He's going to hit some putts. He's gotten a little bit better at putting this season, so that's good. And, like, if I had to go next, if I had to put 3 guys, it'd be Xander Schauffele. Probably. But just these 2 guys, Rory and Hideki, I love both of them for these pay-up options.
So I'm with you. Rory, yeah, duh, obviously. Not on Fleetwood. And yeah, I like Hideki. And I like Bryson. I'm going to play some Bryson. I like this new Bryson that we're seeing that can just bomb the ball off the tee. He's got a 2nd place finish back here in 18. He's playing well right now, so I like me some Bryson. I'm gonna add some Bryson in there at 10-4. And then Hideki. My only problem with Hideki is his putting. I love Hideki, but you look at his finishes here. The 1 year that he had a good finish, he gained like half a stroke putting. The other year,
that's all I need.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, that's it. That's all you need. But right now, his putting is bad. He is not in a good putting swing. He could fix it this week. He's certainly not going to find anyone better on approach with his irons, tee to green, DK scoring, birdie better, any of that. Like that's all Hideki. But it's risky because he can't putt, and I like him. But I almost, I feel more comfortable with Bryson or Rory. I'd rather play Rory and then Bryson and then Hideki. That's my order up here. But yeah, I mean, Hideki, he's awesome GPP play because any week that if he just doesn't lose strokes putting, he could win. Or he could lose 3 strokes putting and finish T49th like he did in 2018. So, all right, I'll get into this 9K range, and there's not much in here for me. I know you were saying before that there's not much in here for you either.
Yeah.
First off, Adam Scott. Let me some Scotty. Him and his fucking goddamn broomstick putter. Hey, whatever works. He doesn't typically putt well on Bermuda grass, but that's okay because it's the Tiff Eagle Bermuda here, right? Yeah. So Tiff Eagle Bermuda. I still think he's one of the better putters here. He is 6th overall in my GPP model. Let me see. Yeah, he lost strokes putting at the WGC Mexico, but before that, gaining strokes all over the place. Last 5 events, he's averaged a total 1.8 strokes gained putting. Good with his irons, good on approach, good at hitting greens. Love me some Adam Scott. And then I want to like him. Im is 7th in my GPP model, but I'm not playing a guy off his first PGA Tour win.
And the wins.
Did you hear the Sung Jae Im narrative? Did you hear why he's like playing so fucking much?
No.
He
playing so much?
Yes.
Oh no, not playing so much.
Because he came out and said that he plays so much because he wants to accrue as many points as possible to make it to the Olympics so that he can win a medal in the Olympics, because that is one of the things that will exempt you from your mandatory 2-year military service in South Korea.
That is interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, right. So, well, I mean, I did not know that was his driving force, but yeah, I mean, I know there's been golfers in the past that have like had to leave the PGA Tour because they had to go back to Korea and do their military service.
Huh.
Interesting. Mandatory 2-year military service. So yeah, and then Patrick Reed. I might play some Reed this week. Doesn't grade out terribly well on my model. But we know what we're getting with Reed. You know, good tee to green, good on approach. You know, he won the WGC. You know, with a whopping 12 strokes gained putting, 11.8 strokes.
Oh, that's it.
That's absurd.
He didn't have to. He lost strokes off the tee.
Yeah,
and won it.
1 stroke off the tee and made it up.
He's like, just let me make every 50-foot putt. We're fine.
Exactly. But, you know, these are big greens. Lots of lag putting. You know, I think he'll be all right here. Doesn't usually putt that well in Bermuda. He's more of a bent POA guy, but that's fine. I don't think he's going to carry much ownership. And 9,400, I like the price, so I'll have some Reed. Other than that, man, there's not really anyone else in this range that I like that much. I know there is for you though, so let's go yell at each other.
No. I've Reed first, Scott second, and it was they're both like Scott hasn't in the last few events hasn't been great in approach, but he's a great oh damn, I'm on the wrong one. Wait, what? Oh, well, that changed everything up. That's why. He's a great win player, sorry. Yeah, he's just a great win player. 6 in total strokes gained in his last 24 rounds in the wind. And he's, with his putting and all that, he should do fine. He's done fine here. 12th is his best in 16, but he's made the cut in 3 of the past 5 years. But I like Reed more, a little discount, and he's been just as good or if not better of a putter and has better finishes with a T7th in 18 and a T50th last year and has been better. He's actually 11th in my model in the last 12 rounds with 17th in approach and 23rd in opportunities gained. And then we already talked to pre-show, and I'm going to say it here. You don't get to say a word till I'm done. And you don't get to say a word ever. You know, you don't get to say a word. Brooks Koepka, 9,200. He's looked like garbage. I know. But this is not a main lineup play or anything like that. It's just he's not. I don't pay for Brooks Koepka 10K and above at non-majors. But he's 9,200. He's going to be most likely low owned. And I made sure his knee was fine. He said his knee was fine. It's just his putts need to start dropping.
You made sure his knee. Did you go in there and
I called his doctor. We have the same doctor. I called his. No, he said his knee is fine, and
hello,
he said
Dr. Shockey. How's his knee bone? How's his knee bone? Is his knee bone still connected to the leg bone?
Yeah, it's still there. His leg is still connected, so we got that.
For confirming that for us.
Oh, okay.
Inside reporting. You heard it here, Nation.
He said his putting has been the problem. He said he felt like he stroked it fine. Oh God! I keep saying it. Why does everything sound so weird?
Because it's coming out of your face.
I will take a shot on Brooks Koepka because he's going to be low owned and he's cheap. He's cheap for Brooks Koepka. It's mainly a price play.
Okay.
Price and ownership. If let's say it was like over 10%, no, I wouldn't be interested. But he's projected for around 5-ish.
You don't get difficulty points.
You don't. That's why I say it's not a main lineup play. If you're making a few lineups, it's like, why not? 5% Koepka at 9,200. You don't get that ever. Why not take it? It's like the talent is still there. It just drop his putts.
Just stroke it good.
And that's it. So, yeah, Reed, Scott, and then we have our minor have disagreements about Kepka.
This moment makes me wish I could go back in time to like August when I was like, "Hey man, you want to come write for this site that I write for?" I wish I could go back and kick myself in the nuts for that moment.
For this just one moment. Okay, we'll make a bet then.
All right.
What would you say? Like, what would you give me? Like his finish. We'll say his finishing place. Oh, but I forgot to mention just a second. He's really good in the wind. Sorry, I forgot to say that.
Okay. And he has 2 legs.
And he has 2 legs. Good in the wind, 2 legs.
Strokes gained, 2 legs.
Okay, give me some. What finish? What would you give me?
You want to just do a head-to-head?
On who? Give me a player you like in the 9K range. Sarah like Reed and Scott.
Yeah.
You talk about Jason Day in the pre-show. You want to bet those 2?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, 50 on Koepka doing better than Day.
All right, if Day withdraws, no bet.
What if he withdraws after he makes a cut and goes to Disney World again? Does that count? Like he made the cut, but he's just like
first time he withdrew before he started playing.
Okay, fine. They have to no withdrawals. That's the thing. No withdrawals, best finish.
Okay.
Okay, and if they both miss the cut, it's still best finish.
What? How does that work?
If some guy comes in 100th, other guy comes in 80th.
It's no bet.
Okay, fine. Okay, all right. 8K range. You go ahead.
All right. Yeah, 8K range. A lot of goodness here. Wow, that was a tangent. Finau. Love me some Finau. 9th in my model. Great in approach. Great ball striker. Great tee to green. He just strokes it so good.
Oh yeah, he does. But what's he do, man?
Putt. He actually doesn't stroke it that well, but that's fine.
He's stroked better lately.
How for Chicago scored 5 goals in Cooper?
That doesn't matter. Pay attention.
All right. Stenson. Love me some Stenson. 13th in my model. Strong numbers across the board. Probably looking like a cash play on my end. In his last 5 years, he missed a cut in 17, whatever. Other than that, 3 top 5s and a top 17 last year. Or T17 last year. So love me some Stenson. He's cheap. He's playing well. Cash. Betting on 30th in my GPP model, which is not great, but betting on is known as a Pete Dye specialist. Wait, this isn't a Dye course, is it? Why do I keep saying that?
I don't know why I keep saying.
That's next week. God damn it! I've already got my mind in the players.
Okay, calm down.
Well, betting on next week though. Let me tell you something.
No, we're on this week.
Sorry. All right. Yeah. Betting on. He has 2 legs. He's done well here. T10 last year, T14 2 years ago. Made the cut the 2 years prior to that. But we know what the deal is with Benny on, and that is putting. If he can putt decently well, he'll do really well because his approach and iron game and everything will carry him there. But if he sucks at putting, he sucks at putting. So, yeah, we'll just roll with that.
He gained strokes putting last week for the first time in 7 events.
Love it.
He's on a streak.
2 in a row.
He just needs one to get him going.
2 in a row. He's getting fire.
His streak is 2 in a row. Oh, wait, he made 4 in a row and back in 18. Oh, wow. Maybe it's a start.
Leishman, let me some Leash. Obviously, he's already won on tour this year. Great history here, too. He won here in 17, T7, T17, T23, and then he missed cut back in 14, but whatever. Let me some Leash. Colin Morikawa is interesting to me because he is 2nd in my GPP model with fucking just incredible numbers. Like, everything is top 10. Except his
putting.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
Yeah, hasn't really played here, obviously. He played here in 18 somehow. Not sure what that was all about, but made the cut. He was probably min-price, too, back in 2018.
He was still in college.
Yeah, exactly. He must have got some kind of random-ass invitation exemption into this field.
Sponsors exemption.
Yeah. Lee Westwood. Lee Westwood is a baller on the Euro Tour. My man is like father time, and he is probably coming like top 4 of like every major. Like he hands down has the most like top 5 finishes in a major.
I think he has the most WGCs played too without winning.
Yeah, he's just an animal, and he's in really good form right now. His GPP, his PGA numbers aren't really going to be there. He's not going to pop up in anyone's model, really, unless they factor in Euro numbers. But he's having a very good year on the Euro Tour. And I love the guy, just as a person and as a golfer. Top 4 last week, similar course this week. He's a good putter. Great off the tee, great tee to green. So I definitely like me from Elitist Westwood. Last 2 for me, Hatton and Hovland. Tyrell, white guy. Fun fact, white guy named Tyrell. From England, of all places. I think it's pronounced Tyrrell.
That's not fun. I'm not going to call him that.
Pronounced Tyrrell.
Not America.
Tyrrell Hatton.
Not America, it isn't.
5th in my GPP model. Just good approach, ball striking, tee to green, greens and rag. Just, everything's strong across the board. And then I'm going to go back to Big Dick Vic. Victor Hovland, also known as Stoned Rory. He sucked last week, as expected. Because was this last week or was that the week before? I don't even know.
No, the week before he played in the alternate event where he won.
Yes, that's it. And he sucked last week, as expected because he won his first event. And I think he had some ownership too. Like
10, 12. No, it wasn't.
He's a week removed. He's had some more time off. He's 8K. He's still a really good ball striker, really good on approach, really good tee to green, good putter too. So I'm going to go back to
he's not a good putter.
His he's one of the best 3-putt avoidance numbers in this.
Yeah, 3-putt, but he can't make 1 putts. That's the thing.
Dude, in the last 5 rounds, he's gained a 1.4 strokes putting on average in the last 5 events.
5 no.
1 strokes putting on Honda.
Of the recorded events.
Yes.
But overall, they're
not.
It is he's getting better, but overall, he's not a great putter. So far, he's only also 22 years old, exactly. And I love him
because he's Big Dick Vic. Because he strokes it sort of well.
Oh, he strokes it amazing.
You said that like you're recalling a memory.
Oh my god!
The alleyway.
And it pains me to say that I don't even have him.
Oh, all right.
He's gonna do this to me. Was that it?
That's it. Your turn.
Okay. Obviously Ben on, and he's a good This is not Pete Dye, so I won't mention that. But yeah.
I'm so in tune for next week. I'm just so excited for the player.
Everybody is. Everybody always is. But he's also a really good win player. So that's also bonus. Played amazing last week. He got progressively better. I think on the first day he played terrible. I think he was 6 over on the first day. Yeah. And ended up in the top 5.
And he was on Twitter talking shit about himself, and then came back and balled out.
And then he was the best ever. I think from Friday to Sunday, he was the best golfer from Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
1 round is why he didn't win. If he shoots 3 over or 2 over on Thursday, he wins it. Not necessarily butterfly effect, but that's it. But yeah, Ben on, and then Hatton, the number 2, and mentioned him, and good win player. I'm not going to go too much into the guys. Stenson's next. The only concern with Stenson, he would have been number 1 if he would have played more events recently. Yeah. His last event was in January in the Euro Tour. But overall, win player, played great here. Yeah, that's the only reason he's below those 2, because where is his form of late, which could be still there, could not be. but he's always got his 3-wood. His favorite club is the 3-wood.
Yep,
and that's why he plays well here. Because he doesn't like his driver. He loves his 3-wood. Now I'll go with Bubba Watson. 17th in my model. Made 4 of his last 5 cuts with 2 top 25s and with a top 10 and a top 25. Last 3 years here, 34th, 69th, and a T17th last year. Over his career, he's been a good win player. His best finish here was when he in his past 5 years, past 3 times playing here, his best finish was only losing 3 straight strokes gained putting. But he's also coming in better with a better putter than he has in those 3 years, gaining over 3.5 strokes in putting over 3 of his last 4 events. And he could show something with being that he hasn't putted this well coming into here in the past 5 years. I'll take a shot at him. Then Colin Morikawa. I'm out with you on Colin Morikawa. It's just in the past 12 rounds, fifth in approach, ball striking, tee to green, and par 5, and 3rd in proximity, 200 plus in the past 12 rounds. It's just putting. Yeah. Why? It's like
apparently no one on the PGA Tour can putt.
Yeah, just the only good guy that had it all was obviously the GOAT of Tiger Woods.
Well, yeah.
But I'd rather have a great ball striker than just a guy who's amazing at putting, because usually they don't finish too well too often because they can't. Really, your putter can only bail you out so much, but like if you 2-putt for par, it's like that won't kill you, but it's like you're hitting 6 and need a save when it's desperation time. It's hard to. It's a little bit more pressure to hit those clutch putts than it is clutch iron shots. To me, I don't know, but to the 7K range, I'll announce it. We got Homa at the top at 7,900 and Mickelson, but and then all the way down to 7,000s of Keegan Bradley and Hoge and Harmon and all them. And I'll go with Homa, who's been playing amazing. I don't know if you have him, but he's been playing amazing. 3rd in my model in the last 12 rounds. His worst stat is at proximity 200 plus, but he's 46. That's his worst in a bat. 46 is his worst.
Putting fucking incredible.
Oh, he's an amazing. But we finally have a guy, the guy in the 7K range, who's amazing in the past few events. Last 24 rounds, he's actually in win conditions, 35th tee to green and 29 total strokes gained. Has gained strokes tee to green off the tee, approach, and putting in 4 straight events. Has made his last 5 cuts with 3 top 10s and a top 25. Even though he's never played here, he's playing amazing. I don't you don't know the course that well, but when you're on a roll, you're on a roll, and it's like with a lot of these guys I'll have down here.
When you're stroking it good,
he's not stroking it good. He's a phenomenal stroker right now. Like one of the best strokers.
Expert stroker.
Oh god, he's got to teach these 7K guys how to stroke it better. Then I go to
spend some time in the locker room working on their stroking.
Yeah. Like maybe with the guys at the late tee times, he'll be stroking it. Oh no, I'm not gonna say that.
Whoa.
Whoa, okay, Ian Poulter. 14th.
Bit of a turn.
14th of my model. That does come from a lot from last year. Well, not last year, but like October and stuff like that, because he plays on the Euro Tour.
That would be last year. That would be 2019. That was last year.
So I wasn't wrong. Last calendar year, because technically the season starts after the playoffs. But he's made 3 straight cuts, 2 top 25s in the Euro Tour, and a T27th last week, which was better than a lot of people that were over his price range. He's been above average in the wind, 56 and 56 tee to green, 53rd total stroke in the wind. His history here, he's made 5 straight cuts with his best finish of T21 and 15, and he had a T23rd here last year. With close form to the last year at this point, 5 straight cuts, 7,600 with potential top 25 upside. I like that. I want to assume would be in your cash game just because of the consistency, but I'm not going to. And then my boy, one of my boys, McNeely. Of course I'm going to mention McNeely. He's been also great. And I said, wouldn't be an article this year without McNeely. Because I think I've written about 4 straight times he's played in events. And he hasn't disappointed yet. Fourth in my model is worst stats par 5 scoring, which he's 62nd in the field. But that could, also, with past 12 rounds, 3 events with all the cuts made, that last week was only 2 par 5s, and they were harder par 5s. So that could dictate a little bit more. Everything else is top 30 or better. In his sporadic shortish career, even though he's played since like 15, he's been a great in super windy conditions. So on Thursday, but below average and moderate winds. I don't know how you're great in when it gets to 20 plus and all that, but not good when it gets below that. He's gained strokes tee to green and approach in 4 straight events, while gaining strokes putting in 3 straight events. Has made his last 5 cuts with a top 25, a top 5, and a T11th last week. Played here once in 16, and he came in tied for 46. I'm going to keep riding the train until it stops. Harold Varner. Harold Varner had a poor weekend, but I still like him this week. You get a price discount. 6 in my model. He's never been a short game or a putter. Shocker. I don't know how many guys are going to mention that can't putt, but just need that one weekend. The most variant thing. Just need one decent weekend. I'm not asking to gain 12 strokes putting like Reed, but just give me something. Has been top 10 in ball striking, tee to green, and par 5 scoring in the last 12. Average, just above average in wind conditions. It's only made his last 2 cuts, back-to-back cuts in his last 5. T13th and a T42nd last week. Has only made 1 cut of his last 3, the past 3 tries here in the last 5 years. But he hasn't played this well coming into this event for statistical purposes in any of those years. For 7,100, make the cut and do a little bit more. That would be great for this price. And then I go with Abraham Answer, 21st in my model. His worst stat is proximity 200 plus, and then opportunities gain just a bit below average, and like 75th in opportunities gain, and 82nd in 200 plus. But he's a good win player from tee to green, 22nd in tee to green in wind conditions. He has not been known for putting, but he's currently in his best 5 rounds. 5 event stretch of putting in his 5-year career on tour. Came T12th at the WGC, and before that made 4 straight cuts with a T6 on the Euro Tour. He's gained his strokes in off the tee approach and putting in 3 straight events, while gaining strokes in tee to green 2 of the last 3. Has only played here once, got cut, which was last year, but I think his game is much improved since then. Then Ryan Moore is my last guy at 7,400. 43rd in my model. It's being brought down by his par 5 scoring and his long approach shots over 200 yards. But he's been top 30 in approach other than that. And ball striking. He's played in 3 events in this calendar year, where he's made 2 or 3 cuts at T6 and a T30th at the Genesis. He's a great win player, 12th in tee to green and total strokes in his last 24. He's played here the last 4 years with a 74th, 34th, a 6th, and a T33rd last year. He showed the safeness of making the cut here and the upside here. So that is my 7K with Homa, Poulter, McNeely, Varner, Answer, and more.
Sweet, yeah. So right off the bat with you on Homa. Homa very well might be a cash play this week. Definitely with you on Homa. With you on Answer. Answer may also be a cash play this week. Yeah, both of these guys they're in great form right now. So I'm on board with you. Move on down the list here.
I forgot one guy.
Okay.
Sorry, he's on the next page. Streelman.
Too late. No.
It was Streelman. He's my last guy.
I like Streelman. Yeah, Streelman's a really good player.
I got him before you.
Dude, his history here is terrible.
Oh, it's not. He's made cuts.
Barely.
It doesn't matter. For 7,100, that's what you'll take.
Okay. He's been so close to the cut line, like one stroke the wrong way, and he's got like 3 missed cuts instead of 1 in the last 5 years. And so I'm not a fan of it, but if you do, that's fine.
Wait, are you recommending him or no?
I'm not. No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. By the way it made it sound, I thought you were.
No. For me, Brennan Steele, 7,500. T17 here last year. 10th in my GPP model. So I will be playing some Brendan Steele. 4th last week. 2nd at the Sony. Couple miscuts in there, but guess what? It doesn't really put that well in POA. So she doesn't really put well on anything. But I mean,
that's the story of the night.
Yep. I mean, he gained 6 strokes putting at the Sony, 4.4 at the Amex, 1.3 at the Honda. So not terrible. Last 5, he has averaged positive strokes gained. Joakim Neiman, the Chilean. 7,500, 20th my GPP model. I don't hate him this week. He's still, he's missed back-to-back cuts between the Honda and the Genesis. But I think he's better than this. He's struggling. Really what he's the worst at right now is pretty much like tee to green, around the green. And putting's been kind of up and down. So, I think for 7,500 for a guy that is much better than he's been playing, I'll try to get on him before everyone else. T46 last year here, nothing crazy, not a play I'm in love with by any stretch of the imagination, but worth a shot here and there. My dude Harris motherfucking English, 7,400, 23rd in my GPP model. This dude has been carrying me. His history here is not great. 68 last year, 22nd in 18, missed cut, and then a T29. So his form or his history here is not great, but his form coming into this event is awesome. 17th last week, 16th at the Waste Management. He's just putting absolutely fucking lights out. We talked about playing good putters. He does better in the wind, does better on hard courses, puts the lights out on Bermuda. Guys that putt well on Bermuda, fucking play them on Bermuda. That's end of story. He does not putt well on POA, but he loves Bermuda. So I love Harris English. Probably going to be another cash play this week until he burns me. With Keon McNeely, everything you said, yep.
All aboard. You're getting on the train. Finally. It only took you.
McNeely. I've been playing McNeely.
Oh, I didn't think you were. Good. No, I'm glad you are.
I let you talk about him because I feel bad because you're not right that much. So.
Oh, I've been playing him. I played him before you, so don't even give me that.
No, what I'm saying is that you've been right about him. So I'll let you McNeely and be right about him.
Yes.
Scott Piercy.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
I was back and forth.
Yeah, so Piercy, meh. History here is not really anything super good. Bermuda is his least worst putting surface.
Wait,
love typing
what?
that.
Least worst? That just sounds weird, even though it's right.
The least worst. He's not good at putting. He's the least worst.
His best, just say this, his best putting is Bermuda, even though it's not good.
No, because it's not. That's a positive inflection. I prefer to say least worst. But last 3 events, he's gained a shit ton of strokes putting, and that's resulted in a 6th place, an 18th, and a 17th. Now, these were on POA.
No, Poa, Waste Management's not Poa. It's Bent.
Bent, I believe, yeah.
Yep.
So
Bent, Poa. Which was his two worst?
Yeah, which is his worst, and his most worst.
His most worst and his second worst, and then he comes to his least worst.
Yeah. And the almost most worst, and then we have the least worst. Yeah, so that's how we're gonna do that. Yeah, so Piercy, I mean, Piercy, he's hot with the putter right now, regardless of the surface. He's stroking it good. So load up, hashtag stroking it good.
Like I said, this 7K was loaded. It's just really hard to pick so many guys in the 7th.
Oh yeah. Yeah, lots of love for the 7K range. Alexander Noren, putting a little je ne sais quoi on the Noren.
I don't speak Spanish.
Some putter on Bermuda. He hasn't missed a cut since the U.S. Open, at least on the PGA Tour. So he's making cuts. Fuck it. Gaining strokes, making cuts, and slapping butts.
Wait, I think he missed the cut at the Puerto Rico Open.
That's fine. Whatever. The Puerto Rico.
How do you miss that cut? Out of all of them.
That is silly. That is just silly.
He did miss the cut.
He had an off week. It's fine. Carlos Ortiz, 7,100, 18th in my GPP model. Also in just pretty good form. Missed the cut of the Farmers, but other than that, cut making machine, including a 16th at the WGC, Mexico, which I think was more of a function of it being a no-cut event because that first day was rough for him. And he grinded his way back, and he played very well the rest of the tournament. But that first day was brutal. And I think if it was a 2-day cut, I think he was getting cut. But that's the magic of those events. And we have HV3. You talked about HV3, right, Varner?
Yes, I did.
Okay, moving on. Talor Gooch.
That was another guy. It was just so many guys. I could just pick off this whole 7K range. I don't know why. I never loved the 7K range as much as I did.
Now, weird week, but yeah, Talor. I will be playing a lot of Talor Gooch. Dude is also just a cut-making machine. He's putting pretty well, decently well. His last missed cut was September 15th. So he has made the cut 3, 6, 9, 11 consecutive events. So yeah, he's turning, he's burning, he's putting, he's stroking it well. He's gaining strokes off the tee to green, approach, name it. I love me some Talor Gooch. And then I will get us into this 6K range real quick. Champ, bomber off the tee, hits it a fucking mile. Also been a little more accurate off the tee too, which is nice. 14th in my GPP model. He's a DK scorer, which is what we love. So Champ Connors, yeah, I mean, again, his putting's awful, but greens and reg, approach, ball striking, tee to green, everything else is great. If he can just putt decently well, he will do super well. Matthew Smith. Was that your guy?
That's also one of my guys. I've been riding the Smith before you, too.
I know. Well, I'll let you talk about him, but I like him.
No, go ahead. No, you're the 6K guy. You talk about him. You go ahead.
11th in my GPP model. Awesome on these par 5s. Like 9th in this field in par 5 scoring, which is huge this week. You're going to see 16 par 5s, 4 of which have a decent shot at eagle. So you can gain a lot of strokes on this field on the par 5. Good ball striker, good approach, good at hitting greens. He's been playing very well recently to boot, which helps. He's starting to pick up some ownership because people are starting to realize that he is good at the golf. But yeah, he's been putting well.
He was only 11% last week, so even in a weaker field, he wasn't even that much. And he wasn't even that expensive. He was like 7,000.
Yeah, and he lost strokes, and he still came 38th. So
and I won't even count that against him because very few people played well there.
Yeah. Harry Higgs, that's been my dude. Higgs has been my dude this year, and he is playing fucking good. So I'm going back to him, 6,700. Fuck yeah, I'm playing me some Harry Higgs, that fat bastard. I love him.
Poor man's Patrick Reed.
Yeah, pretty much, except, goddamn, he lost almost 6 strokes putting last week. He could not putt for shit last week.
That was Bermuda.
Yep. Well, but we have to remember his POA strokes gained putting on POA is so fucking high because he's only putted on POA this year. He has in his career. This is his first year off of the Corn Ferry Tour, so he has only putted on POA. This year so far. So, and he's done well. So maybe he'll figure out Bermuda because it's nice and smooth and you don't have to fucking get ready for it to bounce. But yeah, love me some Higgs. No
history, obviously.
Yeah, no history, but that's fine. And then Chappell. We talked about him a little bit in the pre-show. He's 6,200. He was a very good golfer, and then he fucked his back up and had to have a bunch of surgeries, but now he's back. T7 in 18, T49 in 17, second place in 16. 6,200, dirt fucking cheap. Just make the cut. That's all you're hoping for.
Good win player.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm good. I'm done.
Okay.
Stop picking your...
Yeah, I just realized that. Oh god.
I was on camera for a second.
Oh god. Nesmith obviously been riding. I think McNeely the Smith. I just been playing these guys for a month straight.
Your boys.
Yeah, they are, and they're excellent. They're just great at ball striking and irons, and they're good at tee to green. Nesmith's thing is he's not been great. He's not a great long approach guy in 200 plus, but at 6,800, I'm not asking too much. And other than that, he's one of the best 6K guys I like for how well he's played. 5 straight cuts with 2 top 5s, a T6 and a T38, and he's been really good in high wind conditions and below average and moderate. Go past him, and I'll go with Sebastian Munoz. 10th in my model this week. Even in his worst stats, they're all above average. He's excelled at approach, ball striking, and opportunities gained. An average win player, and his best putting, not his least worst. This one is actually his best.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you could say that his best is also his least. No,
that is true, but he's actually gained, like in his career, he's actually gained strokes putting on Bermuda. And he actually hasn't lost strokes on anybody, so he's a good in his career. But made 14th at the WGC. The 4 events before that, 4 cuts, T26, 47th, and a T21. Him and the Smith are very close. I just think Munoz will come in at higher owned than him. So I will... Either one's fine, and it'll just come down to ownership, basically, depending on your lineup build, but I like both just as much as the other. Chappell is the same. I'll go with him. Even though he's only made one of his last 5 cuts, that's fine. He's 6,200 with history here. 6,200, you're not getting picky at that price range. And I'll go with Adam Long at 6,700, 34th in my model. He's been the 10th best approach guy, 6th best opportunities gained guy in the last 12 rounds, even though he's only made 2 of his last 5 cuts. Somehow with those 2 numbers, still only made 2 cuts. He's got an 8th, and he came in 27th last week. So boom or bust, but very high upside in that. 22nd in tee to green, 62nd in total strokes gained in wind conditions. That's because it's short game and putting. Played here last year, and that was only a year he's played in the last 5 years where he came tied for 10th. Just how for 6,700 with how well his irons have been, and tee to green wasn't terrible. I'll take it. I wouldn't expect a top 10, obviously. Just make the cut with him. And then, you ready for the sleeper of the week?
I'm so excited. I've been waiting all night.
Chun Ang-yu.
What'd you call me?
Chun Ang-yu, 6,300. An unknown. He is a senior at Arizona State University. In his freshman year, he was the second in Arizona State University history. He was the second best scoring average of the whole year. Do you know who is number one ever?
At ASU, John Rahm.
John Rahm. He's the second best behind John Rahm. He's made 3 pro starts while he was in college, sponsors, exemptions, all that. Two U.S. Opens, both missed cuts. That was a sophomore, junior season, but he made a Euro Tour start after last year's U.S. Open at the Emirates Australian Open, where he finished 5th Euro Tour event, but 5th for a collegiate guy in a Euro Tour event. That's good. He's projected at 0.3% owned. And why not at 6,300 he's also, 3rd in the World Amateur Golf ranking. World Amateur Golf ranking for 3rd. And has, why not? 6,300? He's got a fun name. He's good at golf. He's the second best freshman ever at ASU.
And he's got 2 legs.
And he's got 2 legs with 3 names. He's like Byung-Hung An. Let's go. I always like taking these. When I make multiple lineups, I like taking these young prospect golfers because they have something to show and all that. He's just and he's coming out this year. Like he's a senior, so he's gonna be coming out.
I hope his family supports him.
Yeah, I wonder how many things. I'm glad this is the end of the stream because this is I'm gonna say a bunch of random things. But yeah, Chun Ang-yu, not 1, 2, 3 lineups.
Fuck it, I'm playing.
Yeah,
he's better than Brooks Koepka this week. No,
okay. He's actually had a good collegiate career. It's like his sophomore season sucked. I actually looked through his collegiate career, too. I went into him.
Can you say career one more time?
Career?
There it is. Okay.
Or is it collegiate? I think I was collegiate.
No, you're combining the two. You're making a Frankenstein word. Clear. Collegiate.
Hey, it's the end of the stream.
It is. All right. Hit me with your top 3 value plays.
Okay.
I'm going to guess Smith, McNeely, and Chun. What is it? Chun?
No, because that's not a top value play because he's a punt play. That's not a main 3 lineups play.
It's a viable punt.
You know what? Actually, I'm not going to lie. On my 3rd lineup, I'm probably going to put Koepka and him for the ultimate low ownership leverage play.
Yeah.
Just for fun. But it's going to be Munoz, Nesmith, and McNeely. Because Homa's 7,900. That's not really value. So McNeely, Nesmith, Munoz.
Sweet. For me, it's going to be I'm going to do my dude Talor Gooch. Love me some Cameron Champ. And my dude Harry Higgs. Those are going to be my 3 this week. All right, Nation. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tagging along. Make sure you hit that like button. Turn on notifications so you get the heads up when we are going live. Give us your love. Give us your feedback. Hit us up in Slack. Add us if you need us for questions or anything. My article will be out tomorrow. I'm sure Shocky's was up like last week.
It'll be up in the morning or something.
Okay.
And
all right.
Catch me on the NASCAR live stream. I'll be with you every Sunday with Tom.
Sweet. NASCAR. Yay. Making a right turn. Where's the left turn? Right turn.
It's a left turn. Left turn.
Goes to show. Don't fucking watch NASCAR.
It's amazing.
But I might. Maybe I'll get bored and I will play some
Watch
NASCAR.
the live stream because you get to see my beautiful face twice in a week.
Yeah. I just want to say real quick, I recommended Mackenzie Blackwood tonight. No goals in the first period.
Wow, one period. You're amazing. That's like you screenshotting your golf lineups after 5 minutes and saying you're amazing.
Damn right. Take the victories while you can. To be fair, that was a joke because I said hold. That was a joke. All right. Nation, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Catch us next week for the Players.
We'll be
the
stroking
fifth major, Pete Dye course. Gonna be stroking it. Island Greens. All right. Peace out, Nation.
Yeah.